temporarily chairing the Economic Development Committee meetings until further notice. With that, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Here.
Present.
Here. Mr. Palin?
Good afternoon. Our first item today is committee discussion, and it's Economic Development Partner Update from the Columbia World Affairs Council. Mr. Dixon Monk, Executive Director.
Podium is yours, sir.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, we got to make sure that that beautiful camera right there can get your smiling face to broadcast it across to our 139,237 citizens who are interested in what we're doing today.
Fantastic. I want them all to hear it. Yeah. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council people. I appreciate being here today and for you to hear from me. As many of you know, the Columbia World Affairs Council is steward of our city's sister city relationships, as well as providing education and relationships internationally for our city and our partners abroad. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on what we've been doing and some plans that we have ahead. Most recently, Fred Monk, our chairman emeritus, made an advance trip to our sister city of Kaiserslautern and the city of Lucerne, Switzerland, where we have key contacts from Columbia at Lucerne's major law firm, Keim & Rudy. The goal here was to reignite the network city strategy that we've been working on, began in 2019, interrupted by 3 years of COVID. That strategy by the council focuses on key partner cities for economic development and education. The primary focus is to attract accelerating technology or innovation talent-based companies in Europe to establish their first office in the United States, specifically in Columbia, and to build their business and technical support system. As a result of this trip, we're looking to develop a mission led by the mayor to Kaiserslautern and Lucerne around this landing pad concept of bringing companies here to our city. We already have one significant technology company from Kaiserslautern that has been to Columbia twice already. It's now at a point at looking to put down roots here in the U.S. The company does artificial intelligence, document management with a primary focus on insurance industry. This is a direct result of the council's sister city work. In Kaiserslautern, we're also looking forward to continuing the artist exchange that's been going on now for 22 years, and it's been led by the late Wim Roelofs, formerly of If Art Gallery, which has resulted in several pieces of public artworks around our city. Currently, as a result of a final project left on the table, we are working with Wim. The artists are installing the latest piece of public artwork at Stormwater Studios and Lewis and Clark Studios there in La Vista. This work was partially funded by the Consulate General of Germany in Atlanta. We hope to have an unveiling in the next couple of weeks. So I'll give you updates on that. Going back to Lucerne, Switzerland, Fred met with 5 accelerating companies and noticed initiatives that range from hydrogen fuel cell technology to women's brain health and an AI company on information effectiveness. All have potential to land here in Columbia. Lucerne economic development executives were very receptive to connect with Columbia on the landing pad concept and would be eager to work with Columbia companies looking to expand in Europe. Our goal is to build a relationship through the World Affairs Council and our Lucerne partners. In addition to our 2 Columbia expats in Lucerne and Basel, Switzerland, they are very much interested, very much involved with the University of South Carolina's MIBS program. MIBS alumni in Europe, and hope to help us build connections there. We have a potential to do a MIBS alumni gathering during this possible mission in Lucerne. The World Affairs Council has maintained communications with our sister cities and other international partners during the pandemic. One of the most successful results of our 20-plus year relationship with Kaiserslautern, Germany, is the development through SC Commerce over the last 5 years with the Fraunhofer Institute for Experimental Software Engineering based in Kaiserslautern. Through the Columbia-Kaiserslautern Partnership, South Carolina Fraunhofer USA Alliance for Innovation and Applied Research has been established. That initiative currently includes a 50% matching grant for a company to enact a qualified digital transformation initiative for their company. And I hope that we can work together and you can help recommend Columbia companies that can get involved in this. It's a great program with a lot of potential. The council will be happy to work with Ryan Coleman to set up an information session with Columbia companies and SC Fraunhofer, which also operates underneath the South Carolina Council on Competitiveness. We all know that South Carolina has a long-standing reputation as a business-friendly state. What you may not know is that according to Suzanne Dickerson, who's the director of the SC Fraunhofer USA Alliance at SC Competes, South Carolina is the only state in the U.S. with a unique South Carolina Fraunhofer USA Alliance model. So this alliance, which is a collaborative effort between the South Carolina Council of Competitiveness and the South Carolina Department of Commerce and the Fraunhofer USA Network, is designed to support the global competitive position of our state businesses. The alliance was formally established in 2019 to advance applied research across the state of South Carolina with the Fraunhofer USA Network and South Carolina research institutions. Examples of digital research areas include artificial intelligence, Industry 4.0, machine learning, wearables, and cybersecurity. In this short period of time, more than 20-plus projects have been conducted. As Suzanne likes to say, the establishment of this unique model is her favorite 20-year overnight success story. In her peripheral role as honorary counsel to the Federal Republic of Germany, she often speaks to audiences who have members in sister city activities. She tells them, don't ever underestimate the power of the work you are doing within those sister city networks. As Suzanne summarizes it, it was the friendship and trusted relationship built and supported by the World Affairs Council between the city of Kaiserslautern and Columbia, which ultimately resulted in the establishment of the South Carolina Fraunhofer USA Alliance. We also had a wonderful visit last year by the city of Accra, in which we hosted the recently elected new mayor, Saki, of Accra, Ghana, and a delegation to Columbia. The visit was a great success in that it reestablished mayor-to-mayor relationships, exchanges with municipal economic development offices, our fire departments, and future collaborations and exchanges. The delegation also connected with Benedict College's Business Development Center to possibly partner on an accelerator program. The visit culminated in a celebration of our close sister city relations and acknowledgement of women leaders in both cities. I'd also like to point out the work that we do with the U.S. State Department and U.S. Congress through the International Leadership Visitor Programs here in Columbia in partnership with the Columbia Council of Internationals. The number of visitors and programs were limited a lot through 2022, but we still had several real in-person visits. We received over 137 international visitors with a number of them through U.S. Congress and through the State Department. We did have 3 virtual programs. And a number of people from the United Kingdom. We had over 57 different countries represented visiting our city. We have 6 statements of interest for future programs coming up in the next few months. As of 2022, these programs have an estimated annual economic impact of close to $365,000 annually. That's my report.
Any
Okay, do we
questions?
have any questions, please?
Dixon, one of the things that y'all have a lot going on, very limited staff. How are we going to move forward in this relationship of growing those sister cities? Because we have all these relationships, and over the years, they kind of, we want to expand that, but also understand the limited resources. And I mean, you're working on, I think, at least 6 programs that I could count in that. So do we need to consider moving sister cities into a separate program? How do we do that? Because there's just not enough human capital to do all the things. And the Frauerhoven Institute relationship is very important to our future when you really talk about what we're doing now here with growing our tech businesses, especially with the insurance side. The AI coming that deals with that documents fits a unique role here based on what we've already grown, but the investments that we're having in the incubator and others. So, I'm curious your thoughts, because I think that's something for us we've talked about a lot, of trying to rebuild that, but also, add some more sister cities, because there's some real opportunities to make some stronger connections.
Right. Well, what the council, again, has done over the years is to, we have, a certain number of sister cities. I don't recommend growing the number of sister cities, and what we've done is create a network of cities beyond our official sister city relationships that allow us to unofficially move forward in economic development initiatives and also educational collaborations with universities.
In Switzerland, we call those bilateral agreements.
Bilateral agreements, there you go. So, so we have a lot of those, and I think that we can move forward successfully with the partnerships that we have throughout the city, through the university and with city council and various other partners.
Well, I think where I'm getting at is there's so much information, but we're very limited on getting a lot of that information and understanding and how we can play a stronger role
Okay.
in making those connections, but also making sure that we're there, that folks know that we have an interest. I spent a great deal of time with Mayor Psaki for multiple reasons, for personal connections to Accra and other things. But realizing that, we're not the direct link. So a lot of the follow-ups and so forth, we don't know where that is and how that is. And so as we start to grow these relationships, how are we going to handle that? And I think that's what I want to make sure that we're addressing.
Agreed. Yeah, I would like to work with the council and maybe allocating more manpower or human resources towards keeping the city engaged more directly and up to date.
Dixon, thank you for the wonderful information. And so when you're out saying great things about Columbia, what kind of presentation, marketing package do you use? And is that something we need to work together to button up as we change the vision and focus of the story we want to tell for economic development, and realizing what we are good at and what role we play here for growing small business, the incubators, and the focus on tech, healthcare innovation? How do we streamline that conversation to really promote Columbia as a place as a destination for these small businesses?
Right, good point. And I do, and I will share with you the work that the documents and presentations that I have on what we do to present. But I would love to collaborate more on building and fine-tuning our presentations and our image towards this network of cities and our sister cities, and make sure that it's completely in line and up to date and presents our best image going forward. But I always tell our visitors and our partners abroad that, Columbia is an incredibly diverse and innovative city that's really underlooked, I think, in the Southeast and across the U.S. entirely, as far as our international connections through business and education and culture. So I think that we have a lot to showcase. We have a lot to show of how incredible this city is, and be very happy to work with you on.
Yeah, please keep in touch with Ryan and his team as we bring this branding forward to be included in what you're taking on the road.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have any other questions? Thank you. Thank you all.
Ryan's also going to work with him to get a list of the various partners and everything that he talked about right here, because I know I can't remember them all, so y'all may want a list as well.
Yeah, happy to provide that for you and work with Ryan to get
Okay.
something comprehensive there and with some details on each.
Thank you. Item number 2 today is Economic Development Partner Update from the Central South Carolina Alliance. Mr. Nelson Lindsay, President and CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the committee. It's my pleasure to be before you today to give you a real brief update. I know you've got actual action items today, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, but wanted to talk a little bit about the services that we currently provide the city and the Economic Development Office, and would really look forward to, if not today, then at some point, discussion on if these services are not as relevant as they may have been in the past, what else can we be doing to help support the city? So, again, that could be a future conversation. Ryan and I always talk about that, but from a policy standpoint and a direction, it'd be great to hear have those discussions. So, for those that may not be as familiar, Central SC is a 8-county regional alliance. We represent the city of Columbia and the 8 surrounding counties. And every time we talk to a company, that's exactly how we describe ourselves. We represent the city of Columbia and the 8 surrounding counties. Because we consider our tagline as the heart of South Carolina, and the heart of the region is the city of Columbia. So without you, we really don't have as much to sell. And again, the idea for regionalism is that we're better as a larger community selling assets both domestically and across the country, across the world. Because, it's hard to be noticed, especially if you're talking to international companies. Each one little community is maybe harder to grab attention, but when you talk about 1 million people within 60 minutes of the downtown Columbia, that can be noticed a lot better. And the idea, again, is especially from a marketing standpoint, the more resources you have, the greater impact you can have when you're out there marketing the region. So 4 distinct areas that we provide services to the city: marketing, research, lead generation, and business development. And I'll quickly go through some of these. I'm not going to go through everything that we do for the city, but just give you a flavor of it. From a marketing standpoint, as you imagine, we're marketing the city and the 8 counties, both domestically and around the world. Most of ours is digitally, right? So if you think about how you receive information, most of it is online. First, with our website. If you don't have a website, then you're in trouble. So website promotion, we obviously keep as much information on that as we possibly can. And for each community that we have a separate page touting, the benefits of doing business there. We also have a robust available buildings and properties search tool. So if a company across the world or across the state wants to find available buildings in our region, then they can go online and search for that. For the most part, a lot of those are on the county level are industrial parks and sites, but for the city, it's office buildings. We do have 2 industrial parks in the city, but most of your inventory is office and targeted towards those. In addition to that, we send monthly what we call property e-blasts. So each month, we rotate a community and send, in coordination with the local economic developer, what piece of property do you want us to send out to our distribution list? And that includes prospective companies, leads that we've been working, as well as site selection consultants. So it highlights a piece of property, whether it's a park or a building that our member wants to specialize in. We also do, recently, this is the second year we've done, is a photo and video library of, think, quality of life type images. We're trying to build up our photo library so that y'all can use it, we can use it. So when we're doing marketing materials, that you have access to all of that. And we try to keep it current because, things change. And so we want to keep that fresh so that we're out there selling, we have images that are useful and relevant. And then social media. I mean, that's, besides the website, that's exactly where people get their information these days, whether it's LinkedIn or all the other social media outlets that we have. Again, that's primarily what is going on, right? So if you have something unique that's happening, we will post it, share it, and get it out there. And again, that's not on a rotating basis, that's as it occurs. And that's how we would provide that. We can do custom branding and marketing assistance as the ED office requires. And one thing we started back in October of '21 is pretty unique and I think is different than a lot of other communities. The old battleground used to be sites, right? That's how you won projects, is having the available sites, and which is still important. But now the battleground is talent, because that is the most critical part of a company's search, is making sure that they have the number of people and the skills associated with what they need in the area. So part of it, as we've come out of the pandemic, is how do you show that you have the workforce for that company? One way that we're doing that is a website that we call Start Central, and it does a couple of things. One, it's a jobs portal. So if you go on there, you can search for existing companies in our region that post on open positions that have been posted on Indeed, and you'll pop up and can search and find jobs that are available here. If you don't post on Indeed, we can manually do it, so that's not a restriction, but it automatically feeds from Indeed. So it's a jobs portal trying to, our existing companies trying to find workers, right, because that's a big challenge these days. It also has resources for people to find ways to upgrade their skill levels. We have a lot of underemployment right now in which people have the ability to move up, they just may need additional skill, and this has resources in which to find. And then finally, it's a quality of life attraction piece. If we provide information on what it's like to live in this area. So if you're in New York, you can search online and do a cost of living comparison between New York and the city of Columbia, and obviously we're going to look good in that comparison. So you can do that anywhere in the country. But we also showcase the amenities and assets that people might want to consider when looking at a new location, because nowadays workers are looking at locations maybe even before jobs. Maybe they're moving for weather, maybe they're moving for schools, safety, whatever it may be. But that whole website is geared towards attracting new people to the area and the retaining people coming out of our colleges and universities here. So part of that jobs portal also includes an internship portal. So if you're a college student, you can go in there and hopefully find an internship within your area of study. So that's something new that we're marketing right now. We're doing a digital campaign and just have wrapped up phase 1 of that. And we're actually getting good results so far in terms of the hits and looks and impressions that we are seeing. The other major thing that we do for you is research. And this is one of the things that all of our communities really utilize from us. So when a company comes looking and talking to us as a region, state, whatever, they've got a list of questions that need answered, whether it's demographics, workforce, taxes, whatever it may be. And we have in-house research capabilities. We have a researcher, and we subscribe to several pretty expensive databases that if you did it on your own, you'd be paying that yourself. And so we are able to provide that RFI assistance to all of our communities. We compile it, we work with the counties and the city in order to respond with the question, with the answers that they are looking for. But it's not just that, we can do property mapping, we can do cost of doing business comparisons. So if the city's competing with another location in the country, we can compare whether it's taxes or labor rates, participation rates, whatever it may be. We can do labor profiles, we can do business intelligence information. So if you're working with a company, we have access to databases to find out more information about what that company is like. And then the third one is lead generation. So we're trying to market the region globally. We're trying to provide information to those companies that are looking at us, but we're also trying to find those companies as well. And so we work closely with our partners at the Department of Commerce and our local economic development offices. We have a lead generation firm that we employ that is targeting sectors that in general we have, that we are going after, whether it's automotive, aerospace, distribution, office sector, whatever we're currently asking them to do. They will take their database, find those that should be expanding because their sector is growing, and begin the conversations trying to get enough interest for us to dial in to have a call, virtual call. All these are now on Zoom and Teams now. That's the first step. The ultimate goal is to get them into the market, right? See what they can on the ground, because you can do a lot of it virtually up front, but ultimately you have to get them in the market to show what you have. We also plan and execute mission trips both to different geographies and to trade shows, both domestically and around the world. We invite our community partners to participate, in which the city has done so in the past. And we help fund, we do all the work on the front end, but we also help pay those expenses for them to travel with us. And then the last thing is business development or project management. So if we're generating leads, we're going to help the company through that process of making a decision. And so that can include everything from planning a tour, providing the information that they need while they're here, taking them on community tours, working with our existing companies. Oftentimes they want to talk to companies that are already here to find out about what the labor force is like, what the community is like. We host lunches and dinners and all of those type of things. If the city or county brings the lead to us, then we're going to play a support role. We're going to help them with whatever they need, even if we're not the lead in that. And that varies. That one varies depending on the community, how much they want our help. Some want us more than others, and that's totally up to the community. The last thing I would say that we provide is really we consider ourselves an extension of your economic development office, right? We're able to provide all these services in a more cost-effective way because we have 9 community partners paying into it versus you having to pay for all these data subscriptions and research personnel yourself. So hopefully, by the power of regionalism, that we're able to provide a service that would be, expensive, frankly. But we're also a backup for you. So if for some reason Ryan or someone on staff was not available, we can fill that role too. We just recently did that in Orangeburg. Their local economic developer went to Florence, and they just announced, he left in July. Their replacement is coming in next week. So we filled that gap as their local economic developer for 6 months. Not ideal, but I mean, we certainly can step right in without skipping a beat on what y'all are trying to do. That is only if we need it, if y'all need it, not something that happens too often, but it does happen, and when it occurs, you need someone to fill that spot, and we have the ability and expertise to do that. So that's a quick update. Again, would love to have conversations about, what else is the city needing, particularly as you are looking at shifting priorities, whatever they may be. Maybe they're retail, maybe they're commercial. Not to say that we would take the lead on retail, because that's not our strength, but we can support you in those endeavors. Maybe it's providing research to help go after that. If it's commercial developers, maybe it's a way of supporting, bringing developers in and a familiarization tour to make them more familiar with the community and what it has to offer. So I just say that to offer the ability to think differently about what we provide, because when it comes down to it, if we're not serving your needs, we're not doing your service. So we look forward to having that conversation, but happy to answer any questions that y'all may have.
Couple of questions. Thank you for being here today. I know that there are certainly some benefits to marketing a region, but within that region, looking at the list of counties you do represent, there is a varying degree of diversity and potential in terms of the types of industries that can come in. How do you balance, the city of Columbia is not a place that we're going to be bringing in these large manufacturing firms.
Right.
We need density. We need more people in town. How have you balanced that? Can you speak a little bit more to what you've done specifically for the city of Columbia? And then what would you say is your greatest success for the city?
For the city, first, how do we balance? And that's a very good question, because we have obviously urban communities here in Columbia, Richland, and Lexington. We have suburban communities and some rural ones as well. So it is a fine line with trying to keep everyone happy and balance the different needs. So we do that by meeting fairly regularly with our local developers to make sure what we are doing meets, what their goals are. In the case of the city, I think where we can play a greater role or a differentiating role is specifically towards the office sector. Now, the interesting thing about the office sector, as you might imagine, is changed dramatically in the last 2 years. Where we have, what we used to target was whether a shared services center, similar to say like a Verizon call center out in Northeast, small technology companies here as well. But those have changed with remote and hybrid work. And so we are working with Commerce to try to figure out how do we go after those companies where in the past we are trying to incentivize people to work in this community. But a company, small IT company, they may have a presence here, but their workers may be either remote or somewhere totally different. And so what value does that bring to the city? And that is something that is, I think, still to be determined. How do we approach that? But that is a sector that not only I know the city, but the county wants to go after as well. And I'd say that's something that we all have to figure out together. I know Commerce, we're having conversations with them, is how do we change our typical manufacturing incentives to go after these high-value, high-paying, maybe a smaller company with 25 employees. So that is something that that Commerce hopefully will have to roll out in the General Assembly this upcoming session. Our greatest success, I would say for the city, that's a good question. I'm not going to put Tracy on the spot because she's been here longer than me. I don't know that I would say what the greatest success is. I know we had a small role in Capgemini, but certainly the state and Ryan and the county took the lead on that, so I don't want to try to claim any success that is not ours. But I think it's an example of how we've worked together to bring companies to the area. And just to back up on manufacturing, even though there's, you're not going to get the large manufacturer here, right? I mean, that's just the reality of it. But you very possibly could provide water and sewer to that company. Matter of fact, we had a major company today that you would be potentially serving if they were to come. But the impact would be felt in the city of Columbia. I mean, specifically if there's in Richland County. So even though it may be just outside the city limit, the impact will be felt throughout. So I don't know if that totally answered your question.
Yeah, Nelson, with your background, Richland County, Department of Commerce, and now with Central Midlands, or Central Carolina, excuse me, this is a general question for, what is your opinion on how we as a region are doing on workforce development? There's a lot of silos, I think, working to create those careers, the talent that comes out of our educational systems. What can we, as a city, what can we be doing better to help this big engine of what we hear about in workforce development that truly can set us apart, as a region, as a county, and as a city?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. It's frankly a difficult question because there are so many different groups in workforce development. When you think about K through 12, the vocational schools, technical schools, the university, and all the colleges here, everyone has a role. And then, Ready SC, which is the training program for the state. So there's a lot of people in this arena, and it's probably not as coordinated as it could be and should be. So that's a difficult thing. Where I do think this region has an advantage is that university and the fact of how many colleges are here. That is a great asset that we have. I mean, over 60,000 students in our region. The trick is trying to keep them here, and that's a real problem. I know just within my own family, we've got friends and folks that move somewhere else right out of college. We do very well when we bring them back, when they start having families and want to move back. But there's talent here, we just need to keep them. And I think that's where we can do a better job. We can do a better job, the city can do a better job working with USC to try to find a way to keep those folks here.
Perfect. Thanks, Nelson.
Thank you, Nelson, for that update. I do think we need to have a further conversation. To be quite frank, I think things have evolved and different, and we probably need to play a different partnership role with you guys. Obviously, we want to stay involved and important, but maybe not at the same level that maybe some of the other counties that have different outlooks. But I do think there is, I'm glad to hear you talk about the students because we've been engaged with the students for over a year.
Right.
We have representatives from every college and university here of understanding how to keep them here. And a lot of it is they don't realize the opportunities are here because they hadn't been cross-pollinated or integrated into our community. We're bringing them to the table. I think it's a missed opportunity for us. Most of the college presidents all agree. We still have some greater opportunities. We have a international business program that nobody's actually figured out where the graduates are. And, where are they in a C-suites and why aren't we marketing to them to bring us? We need urban development. We need density downtown in our core. We need, to be honest, somewhere between 6,000 and 12,000 people to move downtown to make us where we need to be for future workforce and et cetera. That includes housing options and other things. So as we're marketing and chasing development, but, where are those back office opportunities? Where are those cyber? 2.7 million jobs available in cyber. And what are we doing? Across the state, it's worth about $89 billion to us as a state, but it could be 5 times that if we put in the effort.
Right.
Our sister states, Georgia and North Carolina, investing heavily. The legislature in Georgia put $100 million behind the effort. So, I'm hoping that we can get our legislature to put some money behind the efforts. But I do think there's a role here for Central Carolina, and we just got to figure out how to craft it that fits our needs. Because you're right, and I think what we've seen regionally here, by pulling the mayors together and having discussions on a quarterly basis, is that everybody's starting to realize that we need to support each other. It doesn't matter if the major manufacturer is going to Kershaw, or it's going to Blythewood, if it's going to Casey. We all benefit regionally because people live where they want to live. They go where they want to go, but we've got to support each other. And I think collaboratively, there's a lot of opportunity there. So I think let's figure out how we forge something forward that works for all parties, so that we can all benefit together.
That sounds good. We look forward to that.
Be great. Thank you so much for
Okay.
being here. Tracy, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Is executive session.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to enter executive session for discussion of matters relating to the proposed location, expansion, or provision of services encouraging location or expansion of industries and other businesses in the areas served by the public body pursuant to 30-4-78.5, Vista Depot, Project Steeple, Project Sequuna, Project Stratus, and Project Canary. Should have. Realized that halfway through.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye. Thank you.